Okay, here we are in the audio suite, and we are going to do a walkthrough of how to set up this, the Scarlett Design here, 18i20, to the isolation booth here, the whisper room, using this computer. That's the goal. This video won't be very short because I'm going to walk through all the steps, but here we go. Log into the computer and make sure that the speakers are on, as well as the Scarlett Design. You can see there's no lights here. That's because the power strip back here is off. Now that's on. You can see the speakers pop on. Speakers also have their own on-off switch. Sometimes they are turned off. I like to make sure the volume is not up significantly. All right, back to the computer. We're going to go into System Preferences here, which I do using the Outlook thing. But so you hit Command Spacebar, and it pops up that. And then you just type System or whatever, and it pops up System Preferences. Click on it. Here comes System Preferences. I'm just speeding up the mouse speed a little bit. And I just like to go in here and make sure that the computer in the output is seeing the Scarlett Design as well as the input. You don't actually have to click on it if you don't want, but that way the computer actually plays out. You definitely don't need it for the input most of the time. But on the output, this means that when you play a video off of YouTube or what have you, it will in fact play back. Now in this room, we're going to use these two XLRs on the left side. Our headphone feed back here is here. So if we're sending headphones back to someone in here, if you want, you can come over, turn on the monitor, and it will duplicate. Okay, so let's do this real quick. Sorry. So now if I play something back here, like this great track I love from Jamiroquai, it should play through the speakers, even if it's just the video or something. Well, I don't know why it's not loading, but that's all right. The next thing you need to do is plug in your iLock, which you can do on the keyboard here. Hold on. Hello. Sorry, that's a little more difficult than I thought. Got a good look up my nose probably there. So now the iLock is in. I don't know why this is not loading, but I'm just going to ignore it for now and just continue. So now I do the spotlight thing again. I type in Pro Tools, and there's Pro Tools. It should open. Now here is, I think, where a lot of students make a mistake. As Pro Tools loads here, you go, oh, well, the Scarlett Design is on and Pro Tools is open. So I'm going to stop this video. Yeah. And no, I'm going to keep going here. All right. So if we create a blank session, I always like to look at the session parameters here. This is generally how I work, but, you know, there's an argument to be made for 48, I know. Anyway, 24-bit though, for sure, minimum. Then we open that up, and of course you want to save, not where it defaults, but in the student work drive. In this case, I'll call it test and vid RB. Oop, that's not an R. All right, and that's in the student work drive. Very important. Otherwise, your stuff will be gone the next time this computer restarts. Okay, Pro Tools pops up. Now, you can go ahead using Shift Command New and to add some new tracks if you want. This is a little difficult to do with one hand, but whatever. And then we could do a master fader. So now we have a very basic session here with two audio inputs and a master. And if we go onto these tracks and we add, for example, some noise, I just do a signal generator and a little pink noise there, render it. Now I've got something I can at least play back. Shift Shift Command L, Shift Option L, we'll Control L, fucking playback mode. Why is it not going? Anyway, but you'll notice that our tracks here are blurred out because they do not have active inputs and outputs right here. And all of those are italicized because they are not, in fact, active inputs and outputs. So here's the actual setup at 5:30 into the video. All right. Go to Setup. Go to Playback Engine. That cannot be set to Pro Tools Aggregate. It needs to be set to the Scarlett Design. If you do not see the Scarlett Design, it is off. It is disconnected. You need to restart. Something's not correct. It will not work unless you see Scarlett Design here. It has to talk to that interface. And it will say, oh, we're going to restart and save. And you go, okay, yes. And then you have to hit OK here. And it'll ask you if you want a detailed report. You say no. And then it pops back up. Okay, now that's great. But you'll notice we still have stuff messed up over here. No inputs, for example. Nothing's popping up there. And our outputs are still italicized. Oh my goodness. We can double check. We've got the right playback engine there, Scarlett Design. The rest of this is, you can modify. But now we go back up to Setup and we go to our I/O. And what I like to do is go to make sure that they're all kind of appropriate. Here, I'm going to come in and just delete everything. Just wipe them out. Now, because we told the playback engine is the Scarlett Design, if we hit default, it will actually correctly put in the mic lines and ADAT lines. Sorry, it's out of focus. And if we go to output and hit default, it will do the same thing. The buses in Pro Tools are internal, and with I think version 10, they changed this bus interface so that you can actually digitally route inputs and outputs through buses. But you still have in Pro Tools LE 128, maybe 64 actual buses, which if you hit default, pop up underneath here. Now these are internal buses. So you can see you have 128. Now we are set to hit OK. And bada bing, bada boom. Over here we can have input 1, and you can see it's not italicized. Input 2. Our outputs, sorry, I would hold down Option and do this for all tracks right now, but I can't because I'm holding the phone. Our output is out 1 and 2, and our master can look at out 1 and 2. Now, if I play back our white noise, you could hear it. And you can see it in our levels. Great. Okay, so that means it's working. And those two steps, the playback engine and the inputs and outputs, are vital to make this work. The next step, so if that's what you're trying to get to happen, video is done. Now, the next step is, I should have like in a baking program, set this shit up maybe a little bit, but whatever. Here, now you get close up. There you go. Okay, so we've got this mic. It's a nice mic. Neumann where is it? BCM 104. It's a broadcast microphone. It is also a condenser microphone. We also have a classic here, the SM58. Condenser microphones, as hopefully you know, need phantom power, and that can be supplied through the Scarlett. Unfortunately, in our case, the Scarlett has some broken buttons on it. Sorry, just getting cables to work here. Cannot talk right now. And the Scarlett Design will... Shit. There we go. Let's try that. So I'm just plugging in the... here's our Neumann mic. And next, we will plug in the 58. And I plugged in the Neumann into the top left and the 58 into the top right of the Whisper Room interfaces. Those are plugged in the background, in the back of the unit. So I have a 58 plugged in. 58 has a power switch, has to be turned on. If you remember, in Pro Tools, I set up the inputs to be 1 and 2. So now, if I, but in here, and I forgot this, the inputs that we're actually using are 3 and 4. Those are the ones that are normaled or directly connected into the whisper room. So if I go to inputs 3 and 4, I should be able to come over here and show you level, but I can't see level because I haven't record enabled these tracks. Record enabled the track. Hey. Oh, not there. Let's try this one. Check. All right, you can see we have a little bit, but not what we want. So we'll come over here to our gain, turn that up, turn it up, and you can see that also here as I talk into the mic. So now you can even hear it. And the next thing that I'm going to check is the other mic. Here is the BP, this one. It's a condenser. Broadcast microphone 104. No signal because it's a condenser and it does not have phantom power. As I mentioned, one of the buttons is smashed in, which is unfortunate. But if you push this, it applies phantom power to these first 4 channels, which generally in this room you're not going to be using more than 4. So now you can see as I talk into the mic, it's coming up on channel 1. And if we go over here, which is utilizing input 3, so now you can hear that. And now I just hit record, and there's a count off, unfortunately. So now it's going, and it's recording, and now we're recording on a condenser mic. I should have named my track. And then now we are recording. We're overloading. Count off, unfortunately. So now it's going. And I had a loop. Recording, and now we're recording on a condenser mic. I should have named my track. Sorry, I've got lots of cables. And that's about it. That's how you set up the room here. Yeah, the next thing you would do is label these. So maybe 104 and 58. And then now when you record, turn off the count off, they will have that. So here's recording on the 58 microphone, and you can see the level there coming in. 58 is a great dynamic microphone that's been around for decades and works very well in a live setting. They're durable and generally sound pretty good, but often lack some of the clarity that we need. So you got to go in and kind of work on the EQ. And here's the Neumann, which is a condenser mic, and sounds great as well. It's designed for broadcast and voicing, so it has an ADR and things of that nature. So it's got a built-in sort of double pop filter to get rid of some of those little things. I'll pause it and play it back, and bada bing. So here's recording on the 58 microphone, and you can see the level there coming in. 58 is a great dynamic microphone that's been around for, is a condenser mic, and bam. So that's it. Obviously, you save and quit when you're done.